Yeah, 8:06 on the first Monday of March, so March 7th. Just went up, stepped outside for a minute with Cooper, just in case, And actually, it doesn't feel too bad out there. There's kind of a cool breeze coming, but expect temperatures to be above freezing all day. Some possible rain midday. Not very high probability on that. However, there is a high probability that we're going to have a good half hour of some conversation coming up with Matthew Harrington, who is the Executive Director of the Bennington Area Chamber of Commerce. Morning, Matt.
Good morning, Dave. Good to be back. I know we've sent some other people in my stead, Brenda and Shannon, for the last couple months, so I'm happy to be back in the studio. As you know, it's like being here with family again.
Yeah, I like that. And actually, it is.
Now, family tradition we have to do in the station here. Now, our dad used to do it every year when it came on to our birthday. We have to give a big shout out to Michael Harrington, who it is his birthday today. So I'm stepping to Dad's shoes here a little bit and saying happy birthday to Michael Harrington. If you see him, say hi and wish him a happy birthday.
Are you going to sing him a happy birthday?
Not on air, I'm not.
I will. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Michael. Hope you listen. Yeah, so I talked about the Snocross because you did a wonderful article for the Bennington Banner, so I read that verbatim this morning. And so the Snocross thing, something new for Bennington, that's for sure.
Something new. I think it was new, but I think we do have a group here that do like the outdoors, do like obviously the snow weather and snowmobiles. And so when we were exploring this, and I by no means took the lead on this, it was very much the town, a couple townspeople from the town of Bennington really wanted to bring this here, and I just kind of stepped into the role and helped wherever I could. But I think we thought we had a good demographic here who like to get outdoors, who like to take advantage of the season, and so why not bring East Coast Snocross here?
It's enthusiastic, it's youth related, it's something. It's got to be a bump. It's a positive for sure.
Well, it was a bump, and you read the article. In the past 2 weeks, we've had our staff go out and just talk to our members, give them phone calls, find out how did they do that weekend. It was a very warm weekend. The numbers were a little bit lower than I think Snocross would like, but it was our first year, it was our pilot year, and it was 60 degrees out, and even with all that, you saw the numbers and you reported the numbers that we had, and then everybody saw, across the board for the most part, a good bump, a good 10% bump in their sales, and what a great thing to have in February.
I was happy to hear that. I said, because I talked earlier because we had Kurt in talking about that, and I said, well, the people coming in, are they going to motel it or whatever? And he says, well, some come in their traveler trailers and stuff. And I said, well, at least a portion of them will be, going to moteling it and that sort of thing. And of course, the eateries turned out to be pretty well.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing. I mean, you can't beat that with a stick in February.
It was, and when they come back any other winter in Vermont, besides this winter, besides the El Nino winter, they're going to get massive amounts of snow, and I think they're going to like it even more here. So we're excited. We're hoping they come back for year 2 and 3. So we're going to work to get them here.
What is the lead time for something like that? Do you have? I mean, obviously he's got to finish this year's thing and then maybe make a schedule.
Yeah, I don't remember. They reached out to us. I mean, they're pretty well organized. They do this. They have a race every weekend, and so they really kind of start with the town. But while they're working with the town, they're already doing races on the other weekends. Oh, sure. And so it's a very interesting and organized way to do it. We started a couple months out, which isn't as big as the Garlic Fest, but they were a couple months out because I remember I was just coming into the position as they were asking for signage, and we helped host their sign on Memorial Drive there, and then offered some other amenities as well.
As far as the venue, though, that's got to be one of the better ones that they would have. You're very close to the center of town. You've got an area where you have a natural place for people to stand and watch. You've got the hill on the side and the flat there.
It's free advertising for them because every single person coming down that highway can either hear it, but then they'll definitely see it as those snowmobiles will climb up into the air.
I hope they come back, man.
Yes.
You talked about Restaurant Week.
Yes, we are embarking on a restaurant week. I believe it's been done before in Bennington, but we were sitting around in one of our staff meetings and we said, again, what are some ways that we can help as a Chamber of Commerce bump some of the sales in some of our lower months, so February and March being, not always the greatest months. We always, I think from a Vermont perspective, we always do very well in the summer and the fall. So what are ways that we can help some of our members get a little bit more foot traction? So we're looking at launching Restaurant Week the 19th to the 27th, so that's a Saturday to Sunday. All the details haven't been ironed out, but we are looking at a $20.16 plate, and we're leaving it up to the restaurants to kind of put that together however they like. If they're smaller, like a Little Britain or something like that, maybe they're going to put two together at once, and so you can go for a date. And
where'd that 16 cents come from?
2016, Dave.
Oh, all right. Well, I was just trying to see if we can get the answer to that one. 2016, $20.16.
And so we'll be rolling out some posters, and I believe the banner's going to help us out with some of the promotion. We might do some mugs as well, or pints, and so again, just trying to create some fun, creating an atmosphere here that it's exciting to go out, it's exciting to do business and commerce and eat out, and so if you do that a couple times in the week, 2 times, and you bring a receipt or you send a receipt to us via you take a picture and you send it to us on your smartphone, you will be entered to win some major prizes. So that's going to be fun as well. So we're looking to see if if you can get 2 or more receipts with 2016 on it in the restaurant week, and you send them over to the chamber, Marie at Bennington.com. You can email me, Matt at Bennington.com. We will enter you in to win some of these nice prizes.
That's
as well.
pretty cool. Now, do you have a complete list, or is it still being formulated?
No. I'll be careful to not name names, but we just put it out in our newsletter this past week. We do a weekly newsletter, and so I've gotten some verbal commitments for about 4 or 5 restaurants that are interested. We are doing it mainly with chamber member restaurants, so that's always an encouragement to become a chamber member, because we'll include you in the fun that we're going to have here. But I know we have 4 or 5 that have initially signed on, but we're still waiting to garner some of the if that kind of creates groundswell and people want to join in other restaurants, we're happy to entertain that. And so definitely email us or call us at our office. And then I think as we roll out in the next week, we'll have a good list and we'll make that public as well.
It sounds like a win-win all the way around for the restaurants that are members of the chamber now. They're automatically into that. And that would be encouraging someone who may not be part of it, say, hey, we want to be included in this, so that would be something to...
Right. Yeah, and that's something, Dave, you and I talked about when I first got here, was how, again, is the chamber going to start to provide value? And I think sometimes we do provide value, we just weren't good at communicating it. And so this is one of those ways that we said we will do a restaurant week. Mm-hmm. It will be for our members that are part of the chamber. And that, again, is another value add of being a chamber member. So it's full transparency, it is a little strategic here to say, look, we want to send foot traffic, we want people to go to your restaurant, but we also want to prove our value to the community as well.
Yeah, sounds like a great deal, Mike.
Yes. We're also looking at a Day Under the Dome, so that is coming up, and that's our traditional annual trip to Montpelier, where we rent out a bus, and tickets are $35, and we take a day up to Montpelier, the capital of Vermont, and we are going to go watch the legislation happen, go out for some lunch. You can also go and meet with committees that are specific to some of your interests, maybe. But this year we're doing something a little bit special also. We are asking 7th and 8th graders to do a writing contest called Ask a Legislator. And so that's going to be out in the banner and information. You can go to our website as well, www.bennington.com. And we're asking 7th and 8th graders from all school districts, write us your best Ask a Legislator essay, and we will pick the winners. And I believe Mary Morrissey and Brian Campion are going to help us pick those winners. And then those kids that win, we're going to do either 1 or 2 from a school district, depending on the number, are going to get a free ride and come on up with us to Montpelier.
So that portion of it will happen before the Day Under the Dome ride. So
yes, right now
will
it's
go
live.
with you.
Yes, yep, and we'll pick. I don't have the exact date that will notify the kids that have won, but that also before, I think in the past, we've taken a set of kids from a specific school district. We kind of wanted to open that up. We wanted to challenge kids. We wanted to challenge them to understand and learn about politics in Vermont. And so we think this is a great win-win for everybody as well.
And it gives the kids a chance to be introduced to the legislative, which is rather unique. I mean, not all states do what Vermont does. It's kind of unique in this state.
Well, and from what I've heard, I can't guarantee anything, but I know we try and go around and we try and find a picture with the governor. So I believe that is always a challenge. Jonah Spivak was telling me about that the other day, because he's usually the one that helps us with getting the kids up to Montpelier. And he says, we have a tradition of always getting a picture with the governor. So again, if kids are listening to this, you have the potential to have a picture taken with the governor of Vermont.
Is there a lot of planning that has to go up? Do you call them and say, hey, we're going to come up with so many people, and they set a block for you? I mean, is it all set, or you just kind of pick and choose where you sit? And
we go through one of the sessions, and so that's open to the public, and then there are committee meetings. So we will organize that in-house based on what we know as the committees that are meeting, and then really get put into a room no bigger than really the studio here with each general topic or committee that's meeting, and you can kind of go off and do that on your own. So we try and create somewhat of a walking tour, an itinerary, but we're not hand-holding either. You can kind of go and where you want. I know there's the History Museum down the road, which is always a fun thing to go into. So Montpelier can be a very fun little town as well.
And this bus ride will start from where?
It's going to start at the Welcome Center, so the one right up on the highway at 6 a.m., so bright and early, and then we get up there, we do the session, we do lunch, we do the committees, and we'll have you back down here around 5 o'clock at the Welcome Center.
And that $35 covers the expenses of all of that?
That's $35 for the adults, and then if you would like to sponsor a kid, so if you can't go but you want to sponsor one of the children, it's $25, and again, go to our website or email myself or Marie, details around that.
So there's still room as we speak
Absolutely.
today. Yep.
Absolutely. And that's going to be Tuesday the 29th that we're heading up there.
Okay. We want to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more in a moment. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. 8:19. That blanket doesn't want to play. Anyway, we'll figure that one out a little bit later. Yeah, so you already got someone...
somebody in the studio generously gave a one-trip ride for the one of the students going up. So the challenge has gone out.
There you go. Thank you, Aaron. We love you. Okay, what's next here? Of course, the St. Patty's Day Parade is coming up on the 20th.
Yep. St. Patty's Day Parade, always a good tradition. The 20th, which is the Sunday after, begins 10 a.m. at JC's. I know they're doing their normal. They do a charity breakfast for the homeless coalition.
Bennington area. They changed it. It's a longer name now. It's the Bennington
County Coalition for the Homeless.
Bennington County Coalition.
That's why we keep Aaron around.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron.
And they've done that. I believe this is their third year running, where JC's really puts on a full spread. I mean, pancakes, eggs, bacon, sausage. $10, I believe, to get in, and all that money raised goes to the homeless
It's
coalition.
popping. It's buzzing. People are buzzing. Yeah, you going there before the parade? Yeah.
And that's also where we we introduced the Grand Marshal, the Carolines, and then eventually we're actually changing the route up a little bit. We are starting at JC's and ending at JC's, just to kind of create that general flow, and the parade will be beginning in the parking lot of the station, of Bennington Station. That's how we're going to line up. And it's a real quick one, but it's definitely something to celebrate the day. Get out, bring the kids out. I believe the mandatory thing is there has to be candy on every float. So the candy flies at noon, and then we circle back around and celebrate some more.
It sounds like it's a kind of an easier thing. It makes it more productive as far as for all-around thing, because you're going to be just on Main Street for a short amount of time, as opposed to doing the lineup further off towards Main Street towards the east. And so you start stopping the same place. That makes it easier for everyone.
It works for the fire department, who's right next door, obviously, so they're easy to get in and out. It works for the Bennington Station parking lot, which is a huge station, which allows us to set up the parade. And like you said, it's a quick turnaround. It doesn't block off a lot of traffic for a long period of time,
Yep.
but we still have the opportunity to celebrate. For me, St. Patty's Day is always a day to kind of celebrate spring.
Yep.
You know that we've gotten probably through the worst of winter in Vermont,
Well.
and maybe the optimist in me is always looks at it as that, whether it be I believe last year was like a 20-degree day. Who knows? This year might be a 70-degree day. But it's always a time that that the worst has probably happened, and even if it does get a massive snowfall, it's usually gone in a day or two. So,
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about people going over snowbanks to watch the parade.
yes.
Yeah. So what else do we have, man?
Well, we're about to. I just saw a rough cut. One of the exciting things that we're doing, and I'm big on partnerships and collaboration. We've partnered with Cat TV, and we're releasing some shows that we're actually producing with them. One of the shows that we're doing is Bennington Made, and I think I've written about it once or twice in the banner. But Bennington Made, we go into member shops, and especially the ones that have a Bennington product that they've made, or that there's some sort of mechanism or hand-built something that's going on, and we do a tour with that company. We introduce the owners, really like an HGTV kind of home makeover or some sort of thing like that, flip-flop. And so I'm the host on those, but really the highlight is on the owner and the craftsmanship of Bennington made products. So the first one we're actually going to roll out, and we don't have a date yet, but I'm working with Cat TV, but I saw the rough cut, is with Bennington Potters, of course.
What a perfect place to go.
You have to start there. And they already do tours, so it was very easy. I went on a tour a couple months ago. I uploaded a little bit of video of it, and everybody loved it so much that was the brainchild of, well, why don't we really get a film crew in here? Cat TV so graciously partnered with us, and why don't we go around and go on a tour as if you were actually walking through it, and kind of see how right from the dirt, right from clay, Bennington Potters, historically known, world-renowned pottery, is made, and then.
Well, that would answer the question: how do they do that? So they're actually going to show how, like the China, because they're famous for their pottery.
Yes.
And so they're going to take. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a short. They range from 8 to 10 minutes. It'll be something out on Cat TV. I know they'll put it up on YouTube. We'll promote the heck out of it. And I believe the other two that we have in the hopper that we're just putting some final edits on was the bowling alley. So again, how in the background, nobody ever really gets to go into the background of the bowling alley, and how the pins actually get replaced, and how even their new golf simulation thing is working. And so we met up with Brooke a couple weeks ago. She got wind of this and said, I want in on that. And so we did a tour of the background of the bowling alley, how it's actually made in Bennington.
Very cool.
And then the last one that we have so far, and we'll still take some requests, is Jay over at his Hallmark store, and how he puts frames together. So, if you go beneath the store, he has a whole framing gallery there. Yeah. It's very unique, and it's what makes Bennington special, which is the quality and the craftsmanship that goes into what we actually make here in town.
Wow, my mind's going to these things like maybe I don't know. Is Command is a member? Like how they do. What do they do in there?
Exactly.
And you could have
and we've talked about it. I think one of it is obviously Bennington Potters will be able to take this video and send it out and show it and gain interest worldwide. But I think it also goes back to my main purpose, which is also to instill Bennington pride. I think for a while we've been a little bit down on ourselves, especially after the recession and during the recession. I think we have to remind ourselves that there is some uniqueness about Bennington, and there's a certain level of craftsmanship and quality that comes out of Bennington, and people really do love Bennington when they come and visit. And so how do we also not only show this to the world, but how do we remind ourselves of it too?
Yeah. Sounds great. You've got some wonderful things coming up. What a nice spark you're bringing to the chamber, man.
Yes, well, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. It's 8:26. We've got a few minutes left. Anything that we haven't mentioned that you would like to get out before we start?
The only other thing that I can think of, I work closely with the Lightning Jar over there, the co-working space right by the SecU Bank, the credit union there. And I also work a lot with the Bennington Young Professionals. They're doing some great programming, joint programming actually. And this Thursday is their TED event. So what they do is they take the Lightning Jar, They give out kind of free pizza, free beer, free drinks, and it starts at 6 o'clock. And then they show 2 TED episodes, which is, if people aren't familiar, it's the TED event where they do inspirational talks. They're about 19 minutes long. We do 2 of those. We have some light conversation after, but really just a time for creativity to flow, to meet new people, a little bit of a networking, but also has some educational programming behind it. So that's always an exciting event. That's this Thursday over at the Lightning Jar at 6 p.m.
Yeah, for my benefit too, the specific venue it's where the old A&P used
Yes,
to be.
yep, and the bank or the credit union,
That
right,
credit,
their
yep.
VSECU, and so you can go there, but also go around back where Rite Aid is. That's usually the back entrance to the Lightning Jar, especially after hours.
Oh.
So that's where you're going to want to go. You can park right in the Bennington station, walk over the door. It's usually it's hosted by somebody there because it is locked after hours, but somebody's usually there to let people in. The charge is free. It's really just Lightning Jar trying to give back to the community, get people in, get people to see the co-working space, and for us to host yet another great event.
Great stuff. We got to close it off. Matthew Harrington, Executive Director of the Bennington Area Chamber of Commerce. Nice job, Matt. We'll see you next time around. And this is being filmed today, so
we're going to upload this video too. Just another way that we want to make sure we're communicating on multiple different levels.
Yeah, is the pup going to be in the picture?
We can make sure he's in the picture.
All right, we'll get him.
Cooper's always having a good time here in the station every time I come.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, we'll take a break. Be back with more of the morning show after the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned. WBTN AM 1370, your live local community supported radio station, the voice of the Bennington region.